Skoda enthüllte auf dem Genfer Autosalon 2014 den Octavia Scout. Das Modell basiert auf dem Octavia Kombi und signalisiert Offroad-Kompetenz mit um 33 mm höher gelegtem Fahrwerk und entsprechender Geländebeplankung. 17 Zoll Aluräder runden das Optikpaket ab. Dank größerer Böschungswinkel soll der Scout auch anstrengenderes Terrain entsprechend meistern. Anfahrverhalten und Steigfähigkeit sollen ebenfalls verbessert worden sein. Premiere bei Skoda feiert im Scout der 184 PS TDI-Motor in Kombination mit dem 6-Gang DSG. Der neue Scout kommt im Herbst 2014.
The history of Edward Richthofen. In the beginning, there was Edward Richthofen, as well as his superior, Ludwig Maxis. The beginning, however, is also the end, the cut-off point, the opening of our story. The pair were at the forefront of Group 935, an organization dedicated to the scientific improvement of mankind. In time, Edward's view became distorted and twisted. However, once upon a time, the man was innocent and gentle, at least compared to his current state. In the midst of the First World War, Germany sought to harness unreal technology. Several excavation sites were set up around the world, looking for supernatural trinkets and weapons. Richthofen was stationed at Site 64 in northern France. They found what they were looking for, powerful staves of the elements. However, more than old sticks were unearthed. The zombie infestation, as we know, began there. Maxis had succumbed to the illness. In order to preserve his mentor, Edward, with the consent of Ludwig, began a transfer operation of the dying man's mind. The process was hurried along by the undead onslaught, and a temporary vessel had to be found. A quadrotor would have to suffice. Before this, however, Edward had unexpected visitors, that of his future, his test subjects and companions, Thomas, Nikolai, and Takeo. With combined efforts they solved the mysteries of the ancients and escaped the toil of mass slaughter. The makeshift group parted ways, not to see each other until the next world-encompassing war. Edward, the now schizophrenic maniac and insane man that is more familiar to us, has had much exposure to Element 115, causing much of his mental deterioration. However, still within Group 935, his work revolved around the new element, like a planet orbiting the Sun. The first experiments were that of teleportation, a walnut. However, receiving criticism from Ludwig himself. Along the way, Edward met Schuster and Groff, whose roles would debut later in time. Now taken seriously, although begrudgingly, by his superior, Ludwig, Edward was assigned to the Giant Division to further test 115 capabilities. Teleportation proved uneventful for too long, and funding shut down. Meanwhile, when alone, Edward planned the downfall of Ludwig. Experiments were also taking place on familiar old faces by the hand of Edward. Thomas, Nikolai, and Takeo all were captured and specially summoned by Edward, taking into his so-called care. Unspeakable and unknown experiments took place upon the trio at the hands of the good doctor. All the while, Edward would devise a plan to kill Ludwig and his daughter, Samantha. While hatching the devious plots, he took it upon himself to test the teleportation technology held within the walls of the giant facility. He entered the chamber and teleported himself. He found himself surrounded in plant life and unsuspecting villagers in the fabled city of Shangri-La. Worshipped as a god, solving nomadic problems with the advanced intelligence that Edward's mind held. As tribute to Edward, the villagers presented him with an item, a stone, infused with ultimate power, which when held in his palm would grant him that power. He also set to work on a weapon that would infuse the waters of the mythical fountain of youth. Edward was then suddenly pulled back through time and space, and discovered Griffin Station, a moon base. This would be the key to greater success and destruction. Over the years, Griffin Station was upgraded by Doctors Richtofen, Groff, and Schuster. The time had then come for the curtain call of the Maxis family. Originally, Edward planned for Samantha to be killed by an exploding toy monkey. However, with her own intervention, Samantha ran into the teleportation chamber to rescue her dog, Fluffy, from being teleported. Edward's diabolical eyes lit up, as Ludwig also entered the chamber with his daughter. He bid farewell to the family and flipped the switch. Intending them to be ambushed by Groff and Schuster, however, the plan backfired, and Samantha took hold of unspeakable power inside of the mysterious Black Pyramid, and Ludwig took refuge inside of surrounding electrical machinery after destroying his robotic body. Plan A had failed. Plan B took action. Edward gathered his past companions and fought for survival through the swamps, the giant, a grand theatre, a Russian space center, until being trapped inside of a Siberian tundra, where he requested the help of strangers to retrieve a mysterious golden rod held within a nearby lighthouse, as well as other pieces to bring his teleporter back online to continue the journey. Returning to what once was his kingdom of followers, it had become a desolate jungle of bloodied teeth. Here he would retrieve his all-powerful stone gift from a shrine dedicated to him, an egomaniac's dream. With the pieces of Doomsday obtained, the moon was the next destination. After much toil, the Black Pyramid opened, revealing Samantha Maxis. The next step would be to transfer the consciousness of Edward and Samantha, a difficult task but completed all the same. Richtofen was now in possession of greater power. However, Ludwig had one contingency: to limit Edward's power and further his own goals. The Earth was split. Seeing no use in his toy soldiers anymore, Edward began to infest the minds of surviving humans. One in particular would prove himself to be the most useful: Samuel Stullinger. Through him, Edward directed his new team to do his bidding, ensuring the annihilation of Ludwig and preservation of Earth. However, a dark, small-printed clause was present, yet withheld. Samuel would become Edward's human vessel to reside within. However, Ludwig's tongue was pure as silver, and suppressed Edward's power drastically. But he does not stop trying to persuade the troop otherwise. Due to Ludwig's pseudo-promises of lawful good, the world will remain in irreversible, cataclysmic shape. But a new door would open. Agartha, the Hollow. What happens next? We will soon see.